Ugh.
Yeah. Feel good. Feel pumped. You're yawning, so it's already, I think
Gonna be a
we
top
have checked
episode.
all of the boxes.
Yeah.
Um,
Coffee? Your phone?
coffee. Got my coffee.
Yeah.
Got my phone is up here.
Mm-hmm.
I have it resting to charge
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't charge it last night.
I didn't
I
either.
think somewhere. Oh, that's Twitter, or the artist formerly known as Twitter. Okay, yeah, I got the thing. You're not looking, are you?
I can't read that far.
Good. All right.
How to tie a tie. Spencer, that's a stupid topic.
All right, let's get started.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Everyone get hyped. What up?
Do you think it's are we just leaving that silence?
Yeah, probably.
What a way. What a way for people who are listening to SMSoup to be like, wow, I wonder if the podcast broke. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SMSoup, the #1 podcast with soup in the name, but not on
the brain.
Who are you?
I'm Shelby. Today.
Who am I?
Spencer.
And together,
we're on a journey.
We're here to take you on a journey.
Your life's biggest questions.
For example,
waiter, how is the soup made?
How is the soup made? We also ask other philosophical and
yeah, I'm gonna
mind-bending.
I'm gonna start tagging SMSoup as philosophical.
that really challenge the form of current day society.
We're here to challenge the status quo.
Wait until you hear the topic I have for us.
I don't even know the topic.
I think we're both going to kind of I think it's just going to be one of those things where I genuinely believe what I wrote, and I think we're going to sit here and think about it and have a lot of realizations, and I don't necessarily think we'll be mad.
You're making me very nervous.
But I think part of it is upsetting, and the other part of it is somewhat comforting.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. But before we get into it, Shelby, how have you been?
Throughout the week, I try to think of literally what I'm going to say during this. Like when something happens.
I put no thought into it.
When something happens, well, because normally I forget everything I've done ever in my life. So when something happens, small, large, very emotional, whatever, I go, is this worthy? Is this what I'm going to talk about this week on SMSoup? And then we sit down and I forget everything I thought I was going to say. So I'm pretty good. Life is life. I feel like I've been saying it for the past 3 weeks, but this is officially the marker of the holiday season for me.
Mm-hmm.
And from here on out, I'm going to have something happening every week.
Yeah, you have a market every single week.
Yeah.
From here on out.
Which requires a good bit of prep work.
Yeah.
And I'm just ready to feel dead for the next 4 or 5 weeks. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
I'm doing really good.
That's good.
I'm trying to think what we've been up to. I feel like things have actually been really solid. And I know things are about to get a little hectic, but I feel like things have been the perfect combination of we've had the perfect amount of calm
before the storm
to counteract the busy that we just came out of.
Yeah.
And yeah, to prepare us for the busy. And I know you have a lot of prep work and stuff that you need to do, but for the most part, would you say it's not too far outside of the confines of what you normally do?
I just don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's more pressure on it.
Sure.
So I've never done a holiday season to this extent. I've done a holiday market. but this is like my most packed one yet. So it's kind of just the partially, I don't really know how much to prepare.
Right.
I don't know what is a good level of prepared.
Yeah, and you obviously want to like err on the side of confident that like
Sure.
stuff's gonna sell.
Right, because if I lose all my, I say lose, if it all goes up front, I have a lot of work to do to
Yeah.
keep up for the next few weeks.
I feel like so I feel like this first week is really the one that's going to be. This is going to be the like pace starter.
Yeah.
You're gonna do however much you do, and ideally it's a lot up front.
Right.
And that will dictate the pace for the rest of the. Because if you do like, just to throw out like arbitrary numbers, right? So you crank out 5 pieces,
Yeah.
right? And that puts you at a grand total of like 20 pieces.
Yeah.
Right. And then you sell through everything. You sell all 20 pieces, or you sell 15 of the 20 pieces, right? Now that means that you need to make 15 pieces at the very least.
Right. I know. And what worries me is not to like, I don't need to get into technicals, but I don't think this market will be a good representation of how the next few will go. Like, if anything, I think this will be my quote unquote worst.
Yeah. Like,
so it's not even going to be a good representation of how to prepare.
No, so that's honestly a good thing though. Like, if
it's
anything,
just good easing.
Like you should crank out as many as possible.
Yes.
And know that like what you're actually cranking stuff out for.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep saying cranking it.
Yeah.
You're cranking it. is for the ones that are coming after.
Right. Yeah. I'm basically just trying to avoid having a bit of a mental breakdown for a few weeks.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
I gotcha. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like this sort of busy is nowhere near the like level of travel busy.
No, it's different for sure.
And yeah, again, like I feel like it could ebb and flow depending on how like the events go and just like how much you do up front and stuff like that. So like I'm not like, I mean, obviously it's not impacting me that much. I'm not that busy, you know? It's not, oh no, you're sewing. Oh, what am I going to do? Play video games. But yeah, I'm excited that we've had like a couple of chill weekends.
Definitely. They were needed.
Yeah, to recover and prepare.
This is just where I have like a bit of I got really excited in the pre phase. And then the pre phase, I go, why did I do this to myself? This is gonna fucking suck.
When's the pre-phase start?
I've been in it.
Okay,
when's
like the pre-phase?
When everything felt far enough away that it wasn't a looming task in my head.
I'm having something like that
because I'm a massive procrastinator, so I don't feel the stress until like right before. So now I'm starting to feel the stress and going, fuck, why did I do this to myself?
Yep.
Why can't I just have a normal job and elect to be that's okay and not do all of this? And like, do I back out? I mean, I'm not going to back out, but like my brain, I'm like, do I just back out completely? Do I say this is the last year I'm doing this? But I know next year I'm going to want to do the exact same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I do think there's like a sweet spot, right? Like,
yeah,
the sweet spot is either you start making enough. Well, this isn't a sweet spot. Your options are you either start making enough from just this that it can just be your like sole focus. And then, you fill up on all the events and all that, right?
Right.
Or the more like realistic is like you do this like hybrid, or at least the more realistic for now is that you do this more hybrid approach. But then like that kind of puts you in like this like purgatory sometimes.
Your brain's always pulled in 2 different directions.
It's not even that. It's like I want to make enough money doing just this, but I can't put all of my time into it because I need to make money and I don't like it's too much of an unknown.
Yep.
So I have to keep doing this other thing.
Yep.
And because I'm doing that other thing, I don't have enough time to dedicate that I could like put in full force to make enough money. And you're just like stuck in this like loop, basically.
And that's why you should be extra nice to small business owners and all of the above during the holiday season.
I mean, you should just be nice to people.
I mean, you should be nice in general, but especially during the holidays when people are just bound to be a little more cranky about things because there's a lot going on and everyone's trying to have a perfect holiday.
It's just crazy.
Be nice to independent makers, small business owners,
Well, and I think
etc.
I think that says something that nobody tells you this, at least where we grew up, right? Because and I think this is pretty much the country as a whole. It's like you're expected to, like, 90% of people are just expected to join the workforce, whatever that
Right.
is. And like, you're just expected to, like, whether you have to go to school afterwards or not, which wholeheartedly believe that this country fucking pushes you to go to college, but then will laugh at you when you do it and say, why did you do that?
Yeah.
So that fucking annoys me to no end. But like, yeah, you're just told to, like, get a job. And I think, like, a job is just you work in an office, right? And so, like, other people have different variants of that, right? Maybe you work in a trade, or I don't know, maybe you have an exciting job that has you, like, on the go. But like, you're doing a job, you're not yourself creating something. And I think, like, one, that sucks, and two, like, more people should say, like, look, if you are dedicated to this thing, like, you want to be a musician, you want to be an actor, you want to be a creator of any sort, like artist, if you want to be a content creator, right?
Yeah.
Like, the time to do it is when you have the most free time
Right.
and the least expenses.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when you should be trying to do it. You shouldn't, like, everybody who wants to do this stuff gets stuck in that purgatory
Yes.
anymore, where, like,
Yes.
you're frozen in fear and you can't do it because you're not on mom and dad's buck anymore at home because you, like, decided to go to college. And so now you have expenses there. And so you can't possibly dedicate, and you have to, like, get this degree because
Yep.
there's everything riding on that. If you
Yeah.
drop out, you lose money at that point, which
Yep.
there is, like, a sunk cost fallacy, right? Like, you're better off just cutting ties if that's what you need to do, right? Like, there's no shame in that. But, like, it's better to know that and not ride it out and all of a sudden quit in year 3, right? Like,
Mhm.
but obviously you have to do it when the circumstance and everything like that. Yeah, it's just,
It's crazy.
yeah, it sucks. That's not even what I wanted to talk
Yeah,
about.
sorry. You said you were in a similar mindset of
Oh,
the
yeah.
pre-phase.
The-
Oh, yeah,
well,
yeah.
I'm
yeah.
so I think we've talked about this, where Mike from my other award-winning podcast, The Good Game Bad Game. What's so funny?
What award you won?
What does that matter?
Just curious.
What's with the third degree? Why am I getting interrogated? That's so weird. Why would you do that? Like, why are you sabotaging me?
No, I'm just curious. What
Okay, we
award.
didn't win an award. Is that what you want to fucking hear? I mean, that's insane. Wow, I would have just rolled with the punches for you.
Okay, I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
Mm-mm.
Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, Good Game, Bad Game podcast. Mike and
Yeah.
I do a weekly podcast where we talk about video games.
The good and the bad ones.
The good and the bad ones. We try to focus on the good games, but we tend to focus on the bad of the industry more
It's
often
almost
than not.
like SMSoup.
It's almost like the news cycle only gives you the bad. So
Yeah.
we try to, like, fit in the good. Like, when the Let Me Solo Her guy from Elden Ring, he was this guy who just wore a pot on his head.
Okay.
Like, in the game. Like,
Yeah.
his character
Yeah.
just had a pot on his head, was naked otherwise,
Yeah.
like loincloth or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And he would go into people's games and would solo fight one of the hardest bosses in the game, and
But in
could
other
do it
people's
himself.
games.
He would raid other people's games to
And
do
like
it
help them fight.
and help them fight. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fun.
And he had killed, I think, Melania or something like that. Had like 2 phases, but anyway, he had killed her like an absurd amount of times. He blew up, super big meme around the Elden Ring community. And so FromSoft, the creators, sent him like a care package, and I think like one of the things was like a sword.
That's sick.
And I think the sword was engraved and said like "Let me solo her" or something like that.
What?
So cool.
That's
so cool.
so cool.
So I know we talked about that. Anyway, tangent. Mike, my co-host on that podcast, I collect platinums. We've talked about that plenty of times. And he challenged me because I was at an absurd number. I was probably at like 40 or something like that when he challenged me. And he challenged me to get 69 platinums in a year. in this year, the year of our Lord, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I do, he said he would get me a real trophy, which then now it sounds like I don't know what that entails now anymore. But whatever.
We like a surprise.
So I'm now at 50, 59, because I'm realizing
you're in the pre-phase. You're getting stressed.
Yeah, I'm getting stressed because I was on a good pace, and now all of a sudden I'm like, fuck, there's only a month and a half, and I'm still on my same pace. My pace was like, I need to do 6 a month from however long ago.
Right.
And I'm still basically at that, right? Like, if I'm at 59, I need 10 more. I know I have the 1, though.
Yep.
So I need 9 more, basically.
Yeah.
And so that's half of November is 3.
Yep.
And then all of December is 6.
Yep.
It's literally the same pace. I'm still doing good, but like all of a sudden it seems like it's so close.
The looming deadline of December 31st, though, is it's getting there. It's getting scary.
Yeah.
I know your face. You kind of like, I guess it was a few days ago. You were like, you started going, oh my God, I only have like 7 weeks to do this.
Well, yeah, and I've been calculating out what my platinums are going to be, and I'm trying to like prepare and plan to make sure I actually have this locked up like I think I do.
Right.
And I've crunched the numbers and recrunched the numbers and crunched them one more time.
There's multiple lists
of
so
the
same like 9 games.
It's so crazy. It's like and I'm wasting time doing that instead of just like playing the games. It's very funny.
It is funny. It's you're in that what did I call it?
Pre-phase or
pre-phase stress where you just feel like there has to be more to get yourself together to be ready.
Yeah.
Like you're, instead of just acting, you're like, I should organize everything. That way I know I'm good. And then you somehow just get stuck in that phase. That's the pre-phase.
And my favorite thing though is that like I've had it down.
Yeah.
I've had it down this entire time.
Yeah.
I've had the plan and I've followed it to a T.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden following it to a T has not been good enough.
I know. Then you get worried.
I feel to the point where it's like, yeah, okay, December 31st is my deadline. But in my head, it's like November 30th is my deadline in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I really don't want this to creep into December. It's going to, absolutely. But like, it's like, I don't want it to.
Right.
Which is reminding me, I have like a week. I need to do the fucking Connect Tank thing. And that's going to be somewhat of a grind. Anyway.
Busy.
The other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was like you and I, well, you more so. You're a very creative person. But of late, I've had this idea and this plan come to mind for like stream stuff and everything like that. And I don't know the best way to describe it, but like I feel like when you are doing anything that is creative or requires you to like have ideas and stuff like that, right? It's very easy when those things aren't coming easy to you to kind of get into a bit of like a depressive state about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like of just about like the thing, and like not that I was depressed, but like anytime I would think about streaming, I would be exhausted.
It starts to feel more draining than it does rewarding or exciting, because you just feel like either stagnant, you feel like you've done all your ideas, you feel like anything you're coming up with isn't fresh, you feel like it's not going to be successful, or there's all these like compounding factors that you start to look at those over just like, what should I do now? Like it just it starts to become kind of an overwhelming cycle.
And I like couldn't figure out like what it is, right? Like I couldn't figure out what I wanted to play, stuff like that. I never want to play a big game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I miss out on like the story.
Yeah.
Or I get too focused on it, and then I'm not like doing the actual entertaining part of it, right?
I like how you say that and you're like, I can't even play Mario Bros without like hyper fixating.
Oh, we do. I mean, we
not
still
being
do,
able to
but,
pay
like,
attention to anything else.
I don't know, like
no, but it's just funny.
There's like something to like Overcooked, right? Where it's
it's
like you understand that you're gonna watch us freak the fuck out in a level, and then I'll catch up on the chat.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And like I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
Like the comedy or the entertaining part is what's happening on the screen, not anything that I could potentially say to somebody saying like, like if Austin like put in the wokeness scale, right?
Yeah.
Like
It can wait a
I can
minute.
catch up to it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know. I have this like idea, and it's like the complete inverse where I know I'm probably getting annoying about it, but I'm like so genuinely excited
Yeah.
about this idea. It's made streaming now when we're not even executing on it more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because it's like I know we're so close to that thing.
Yes.
And also we've been playing Mario and it's such a blast. It's so much fun. It's like the perfect game for us to stream. I love it so much. But yeah, I wanted to kind of like ask you if you've had anything like that recently.
Have I had anything exciting happen?
Like anything like
mentally exciting?
any like idea that's like come to you of late. Like I feel like it could very easily have been either your blanket pullovers or this like new top that you're going to try and do, where it's like you came up with the idea and like you so quickly latched onto it and we're like, this is it. This is like a really good idea. And it like unlocks a new excitement or it like refreshes you for what you're doing, right? Because I feel like with what you do, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming like at times, you know, like you're just making a blanket pullover, and it's just like you're just going through the motions, right?
Yeah,
and like
I know. I almost feel bad.
There's like a positive, right? Because it's like you're gonna make money on it, and like all this stuff. So there is like there is an ends to means where streaming is like, I'm not gonna make any money really. Like people will give me their Prime subscriptions and stuff, and it's like it's great. It'll give me like $50 to throw back on games or something for the stream.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I try. Everyone says, I mean, I think it helps a lot of people, but everyone says creatives should like write out their thoughts a lot because it can get very jumbled in the head. And I try to be better about that. Normally I end up not doing it, but whatever. I literally was just writing about how, not to be like a downer, I'm like, I feel like I haven't had a exciting creative idea in a while.
Yeah.
There's things I enjoy everything I do, but I don't know if it's the time of year and just kind of the impending stress I've been feeling, but like I haven't had like a big like, oh my god, like I haven't had a true reinvigorating creative concepts in probably a while. The blanket pullovers as a whole were a really big deal for me. Those are now coming up on being like 2 years old, which is really funny. Cause yeah, they're still great.
And will
I
always
love them.
Be a great idea.
I still get really excited. I do genuinely get excited finding a cool blanket that I know will be a cool blanket pullover. The process of making them anymore has become pretty
tedious,
like you've explained. Yeah, like I look at my pile and I go, God, I have to cut all those stupid blankets. I don't want to do that. But I genuinely get excited finding them. I genuinely get excited presenting them to people and people being like, oh my God, I get to wear a blanket. And I'm like, yeah, it's so great. Like I do still get excited by parts of it. But
I feel like that's the other great thing about like the stuff you do.
Yeah.
Is that you get that instant gratification because
if I didn't have that, I would find this a lot harder.
More often than not, nobody's going to say like, wow, I hate this to your face, right? But like people are more than willing, especially at these events, to throw this is such a great idea or, oh my God, I love this. Whether they buy it or not.
Right.
Totally like separated from that.
Yeah.
Like, but people are so willing to say that. And I think like that also helps to like reaffirm you in your like ideas and your creative concepts and stuff.
I definitely find if I haven't had a market in a while, I'm like a little bit mentally exhausted because not that like I need the gratification, but it feels better to 100%. Like be reaffirmed in your ideas. And like people are happy about them and excited and interested and asking you questions. And it makes you like rethink about things that at this point have become a monotonous task that people are viewing for the first time or like whatever. It definitely revives the things I do on a week to week basis. So I haven't had an event in a while. And so I do think my brain is a little like, I know if I have that event on Saturday, I'm going to feel, even if like it's just an average event, just talking to people makes all of it feel so much more rewarding than me just in a room by myself, churning out shit, constantly and being like, cool, did another one, I'll post about it. And people are like, again, I get positive feedback, but there's just something about the in-person reaction
Mm-hmm.
that truly, I think if I need to book myself into those so often so that I maintain, like, I guess, passion in my own work.
And I think like something that's, I guess, somewhat similar is like how I much more enjoy, for a multitude of reasons, but somewhat for like what you're saying, I enjoy doing like streaming more than just like recording a video, because you're at least getting like live interaction.
Yes.
Whereas like when you're recording a video, not even coupling with it that like you have to edit it and like that, I hate editing.
Yeah.
And, like that's why I'll never be a content creator of any sort.
Yeah.
Like beyond just hitting go live, you know. But yeah, like it's the in the moment reaction, in the moment like interaction.
I mean, it feels good to not be in an echo chamber of like you being the performer, the like, and the receiver until like a certain stage. Like it just feels good to have that instantaneous like, oh, we're just having a conversation. Yeah. We're just it just makes you feel revived. I am genuinely, I'm very excited for the holidays. I think they're going to be really good. And I know they're going to be exhausting, but I genuinely do feel really good about them, as much as I'll probably be low key stressed and complaining about them for the next 6 weeks or however many weeks there are. But I'm also, I already know my last day, like just because events and holidays and shipping. And if anyone's been a part of that world, you just know you basically have to put yourself at an end date before Christmas because it's crazy in the in-between. I already know my end day, and I'm so excited for that end day because genuinely in the creative like selling world, there's really no point in pushing yourself until like March of next year. So I am so excited for those 3 months of like, sure, I might like work at some stuff. I have plans to work on stuff in the background, but I'm like, for 3 months, my brain can focus on anything else it wants to.
You can slowly chip away at stuff. You're not rushing anything for any specific event.
So I keep just like hoping in those 3 months, like something new will excite me because I like need it. Like I need something.
I'm sure you'll come up. I'm sure you'll have something.
I'm sure I'll have something.
Okay, well, this actually went like, we ended up talking more about this stuff than I was originally anticipating. Okay. So I think I'm going to save the main thing. Yeah, I think I'm just going to save it.
Okay.
Not that I think it's like so much, but I think it'll be good to just save for like another episode.
Okay.
The one thing I do want to say, so you and I voted.
I mean, we'll probably have to do some pre-records, so.
Yeah. So you and I voted this past week.
Yeah, we did.
Which like I'm not going to.
That was our first time voting in person.
Yes. And I'm not going to be the type of person who's like here's why you should go out and vote and like all that stuff. You will?
I will, especially about local. I think voting... Okay.
No?
Stop
it.
You don't think so? I think voting is important, period.
Okay. Yes.
I also think...
Yep.
You have a much higher impact local. You're going to see the effects of these decisions locally on a faster scale.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I've been good at that in my life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm being minorly hypocritical by saying all of this, but I'm saying I want to get better because I know you will see the impact on a much bigger scale locally and you will see it faster. The end.
Conceptually, I think what you're saying is great and sounds really good, except for the fact that the system that we have in place does not actually reward that in any way whatsoever. Because you can vote in the local government and your like town, your borough, your whatever will say like, Fridays are now free ice cream Friday. And then the national government, the federal government goes, you can't have free ice cream on any day ever. And then they have to stop.
No, I'm not saying voting is going to fix things.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like,
I hear you.
You should have an impact, but you don't.
You don't.
And so that's why I will never get on the high horse and tell somebody, like, if they say they didn't vote,
Oh,
you can have like any sort of like feeling
Yeah.
directly correlated to that person saying that, and like, yes, ultimately, like if you don't vote, you can't expect change.
Yeah.
But also, like,
No, and I don't.
we do live in a pretty
Yeah.
hopeless where, well, no, like genuinely, like like we say, like we as a society, as a people, will say like we want this thing, and the powers that be go,
No. Yeah.
You voted for me.
I totally agree with you.
So that means you want whatever I say.
Yes, I agree with you. And I genuinely don't blame people who don't vote. Like, I genuinely don't, because one, I love the analogy. That's not an analogy. The example of the most celebrated holiday in the United States is Thanksgiving, because every human being has off on Thanksgiving, except like emergency situations, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into that. Every pretty much person has off on Thanksgiving. They have made it so fucking hard to vote based on like work situations, how late you have to work, how easy it is to get to a polling place. It is not a system that is meaning to make it easy. I am not denying that in a heart. Like, that is fucked up. 1000%. And they're also like, I think that would need to change. I genuinely think there needs to be just like better conversations around, maybe start at like local government conversations. Like, most of us don't know shit about what our local government is doing. Like, truly, like, I feel like I literally hear all my information from just like retired people who are just like, this was in the paper. And I'm like, you still get the fucking paper? Like, that's where I get most of my information about shit that's going on. Like, I think a million things would need to change to like actually like better educate people, create a better system that encourages people to be a part of the system. Like, I think there's a million flaws. So I definitely don't blame people for not voting, for not knowing. I mean, we didn't even hear shit about it being voting day. Like, genuinely
you should just know.
Sure. But I also think there should be like conversations happening, and
no,
like
100%.
Like, it's not in the zeitgeist. At least for us. Maybe it's our age group. Maybe, I don't know.
It's definitely our age group.
It's not.
Well, I think there's something to be said about, I think people want, to your point about making it hard to vote and stuff like that. I think people want younger people to forget.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
Vote
absolutely.
Because they aren't going to fall in line with what somebody else wants.
Yeah.
This way or that, you
like,
know?
When we went to vote, we were like, I mean, not that there were a lot of people there. People were like, wow, thanks for coming out and voting. Because
I think that's just the general reaction.
I know, because no one votes. But I also feel like we were probably on the younger side for people who voted.
I think the thing that, like,
I mean, there's probably, I guess there's not. Would there be demographics on like what age groups voted?
Yeah, there should be. So regardless, we voted. And like, again, I'm not going to like sit here and be like, it's so important, you have to, right? Like,
I guess I'm taking the angle, I want it to be important.
I want it to be important too. I want it to be meaningful.
Yes.
That's my issue. Yeah. My issue is that I don't think it's meaningful. I still do it because I want to believe.
Yeah.
I'm like the X-Files. I want to believe. So again, I'm not going to get on my high horse or anything like that.
Yeah.
The thing that actually really frustrates me to continue this conversation real quick is circa 2016, right? Like, you know, it might surprise some of you listening to know that Shelby and I are both a little left-leaning. We think people deserve to be treated like humans. Crazy. But no, like going back to like circa 2016, so when Donald Trump was elected the first time.
Yeah.
Well, his only time, hopefully.
Yep.
Fucking Christ. There was like a lot of pressure put on, I think, the younger generation who got somewhat jaded to the fact of voting, and were told that your vote probably doesn't matter, and they took that to heart, and, you know, genuinely still believe it, and at times they're right. But anyway, people got on their high horse, specifically Democrats, liberals got on their high horse and said, like, you not voting was a vote for Donald Trump. And I think that is the dumbest sentence, because not voting for Donald Trump is a vote for Hillary.
Right. exactly.
And not voting for Hillary is a vote for Donald Trump. Like, you can't just say the one and have the inverse not be true.
Yeah.
Like, what you're saying is that, like, Republicans were more, like,
likely to vote, I guess.
Emboldened to vote?
Yeah. I guess, yeah. Which might be true. I don't know numbers.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I hate that. I hate when people say that.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's my only joke that I've ever wrote. Like, and it's literally about that. It's about how one set of people love to say they love dogs. Some people say they're cat people, and they're always like fighting with each other, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here trying to say, like, I'm a fan of both cats and dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are like, well, I like dogs because at least dogs didn't go to the Capitol on January 6th. And somebody else will be like, well, I like cats because at least when cats have power, they actually do shit with it and don't just sit there and try to play both sides like a dog would. And so I come in, I'm like, well, hey, like dogs and cats, like they could, you know, maybe there's a world where they could all live together. And I still get blamed for not voting for Hillary.
Right.
I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good joke. I'll wait for the laughter to die down.
It was exciting to get the I voted sticker for the first time.
And so this is the whole reason why I brought this up, right? So we voted.
Yeah. And
I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit that when you donate blood, you get a cookie, but when I vote, I don't.
I've seen so many jokes made about how if they upped their sticker game, more people would vote because our age group loves rewards for the shit. They're like, if you made
they were giving me a honey bun?
No, I'd be there so fast. No, people were like, if you made a collectible sticker every year, like gave an artist an opportunity to design the collectible sticker and you had to go vote to get it, I think it would up our age group's voting. Because you'd want to get them all. You'd want the 2024 voting sticker. They're like, also, you're giving an artist a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, but then you like, and then you find out something about that artist.
Oh, I mean,
they're like a truly terrible person. They like voted for Reagan. It's just shit like that.
But yeah,
I just wanted to make a joke.
So many bits.
I just wanted to make a joke about not getting a cookie.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, no, because then there'd be no. I just don't feel like getting into it.
No, go ahead.
There'd be a problem about what cookies there.
Oh, of course. Of course. Oh, I'm allergic to chocolate.
Did you know the chocolate chip cookies actually rooted in? That's what would it be?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you knew this or not, but Adolf Hitler was a huge fan of chocolate chip cookies, and I think it's fucked up that you would have these here. Anyway, that's all. I just wanted to bring up that joke.
No,
and
I like
we
it.
spent another 9 minutes on it, so that's why I'm really happy I pushed my other thing off.
All right, so moving on to our next bit.
So Shelby and I have many bits, one of which is going to make a comeback
next week.
Shout out to SAG-AFTRA getting their bag.
Yep.
Or at least a bag hopefully good enough to meet whatever it is that they wanted.
At least they came to an agreement.
Yes.
Which I will still laugh at. I don't even know what to call the other side. The corporations.
I could think of another C word.
I loved this is our final offer.
Yeah.
And I immediately went, that's not how a strike works.
Yeah, that's not how those things work. If that's your final offer,
quite literally
you're not
do not understand what's going on right now.
Yeah. Best and final offer. Okay, well, that sounds really good. That means it meets all of our demands.
Right.
Anyway, with that, we can start talking about movies again. And oh my god,
boy, are we ready
to talk about movies? I think we like go hard and
really? I feel like we don't have that much to talk about.
And go into all the movies I love since we got to do all
okay.
the movies you love.
That'd be fun.
Fucker. And it also means we can finally finish up our Mission Impossible that we had to put on hiatus because we realized we were being hypocrites.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too.
So one bit is coming back and two other bits are not quite dead, but we could kill both.
You might wish they were, but not quite.
We could.
Okay.
We can kill the chocolate one whenever you want, if you really want.
I'd be down to kill the chocolate one.
Okay. And then
Having a
chicken's going to
really
be done
bad
after
time
next
with
week
it.
anyway.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Cool.
Chicken lives on after today.
Yeah.
Chocolate ends today.
Yeah.
Chicken dies next week.
Yeah.
Also, technically, Mission Impossible dies next. Well, no.
Well, no,
we're
we
gonna
need to
watch
see
Dead
the new
Reckoning,
one.
but I don't know where we're going to watch that or when we're going to watch it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
It is exciting.
Exciting times. So let's get into chicken.
Chicken. So
Chicken chat.
in case this is somehow the first episode you've ever listened to, for the past, I don't know, 4 weeks, we've
3
gone
weeks.
to different Southern-based chicken chains because we now have a plethora of options that we didn't have before. And we get the same meal at all of them: chicken tenders, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, and a biscuit. And we have been tasting them, giving our thoughts and feelings, and the end, kind of comparing them week to week. We have done Church's Texas Chicken.
Bojangles.
Yes.
KFC.
Yep.
And now this week, we're talking about
Popeyes.
Louisiana style.
So obviously KFC, to my understanding, KFC and Popeyes are both more like national brands.
I think Bojangles would be close too.
Yeah.
But
I don't have a good
definitely-
understanding.
I definitely, like, the way I deem it is like, well, KFC, we just know for sure.
Yeah.
Popeyes, I'm like positive there were Popeyes in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. There's been Popeyes pretty much everywhere we've ever lived.
Yeah. So like, I'm pretty sure. Bojangles, I'm not certain.
I feel like in recent years I've now noticed them other places, but like growing up, I couldn't have even told you that was a name.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a
Like,
newer
I wonder if like
growing.
maybe Bojangles is literally like you hit Virginia and you'll start seeing them, and
Yeah.
then everywhere else south.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not
Don't
100%
know.
sure.
But
Sure.
so next week, just a little preview, we will have our final chicken place of Zaxby's. Because yeah, those are all the pretty big chicken chains that we had easy access
Couldn't
to.
get Canes.
Couldn't get
I'm pretty
Canes.
sure Canes is a big one.
Yeah, but I guess
it's not in
not here.
North Carolina, so
We'd have to drive to Tennessee for that. So maybe in the future we'll road trip it to Tennessee.
we'll do like a bonus episode of
Yeah.
like how good is Canes.
We'll
We'll just get it next time we're up in Boston.
True. So Popeyes. As in case, again, this is your first, we are not huge fast food people, but we thought it'd be fun. So in case all of our opinions are way
Off base.
off base, that's why.
Also, it's an opinion, so fuck yourself.
Yeah. So Popeyes. We started this with KFC last week, where to get the most like value and what made the most sense, because we're eating for two people, we got the family meal of chicken
so at
tenders.
KFC, it was an 8-piece
Yeah.
that came with 2 sides.
Yes.
It came with 4 biscuits.
Correct.
So it kind of like bundled in everything that we already get.
Yeah.
It was technically like, I think every other, well, Bojangles and Churches were 5 pieces each, so
Yep.
10-piece total.
Yeah.
But you're basically sacrificing 2 pieces of chicken for 2 extra biscuits. So it worked.
Which, depending on how you feel, that's a win or a lose.
Popeyes had something similar, but
Yep.
it was a little fucky. It was a 12-piece. It only came with 1 large side,
Yep.
but it did come with 4 biscuits.
Yep.
So then we went with that. 1 we hadn't eaten. So it was actually like, it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get into it, but so we just had to order like an additional side,
Yes.
like standalone.
Yes.
Popeyes also had, which we wanted to get at KFC, they had like an apple pie thing.
Yeah.
KFC was sold out when we went,
Yep.
but Popeyes did have them, and so we got one of those as well just to try.
Yep.
But I think everything since Churches, nothing's had like a fun, like additional side really.
Nope.
Like
Not
some of
that
them
I'm
have
aware
like coleslaw. I'm sure is good at like
Yeah.
most of these places. You could like lump it in with like a side that you would expect to be good, and then like they have French fries, which is kind of like boring in my opinion, because it's like you already get those at like your burger joints. But anyway, nowhere else had like a fun like jalapeno poppers
Right,
Churches had.
Right.
So, all of that said,
Also, I want to say that Popeye, just because I like to comment on the sauce, Popeyes had 8 sauces.
and when we asked for one of each, they were a little annoyed.
They were definitely annoyed. Yeah, so
They wanted to fight. They were like, "It's gonna be an upcharge," and we were just like, "How much?" And they were like, we couldn't understand the person. Like they either like I don't know if it was like the
like mic system.
yeah, I think it was like the mic system.
Normally
so, like,
those aren't great.
We couldn't understand what they were saying for certain numbers. Like,
yeah.
Just to put it out there, this ended up costing us $50.
Yeah, which is kind of a lot.
We thought they said 60 though,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my fucking god!" And I was trying to do the math, and like again, like we did get a standalone side. Technically, the mac and cheese is an upcharge in the meal, all that stuff,
and we got charged extra for the 4 extra sauces we wanted,
which I'm pretty sure was 27 cents.
I also think it was 27 cents, which was an annoying number.
Yeah,
make
just
it
say
25.
Just charge me an extra $1.
Yeah,
but whatever. So, but yeah, they were like be 27. And we were just like, okay.
They
were just like,
can you do one of each? And there was definitely a side. Yeah, there was 1000% a side.
Can we do one of each? It only comes with 4. Okay.
Can
so it'd be an upcharge.
4 extra?
And they were like, how much? They were like, 27. We're like, okay, yeah, do that.
I literally went, if you wouldn't mind, can we get all of them?
It was in that moment that they were like, these fucking white people. I feel that way about every single one of these, because I feel like with like Southern style chicken,
yeah,
I definitely feel like the demographic is like, I hope I'm not like saying anything like offensive, but I always feel like it's a majority of like black people that I see eating there.
I genuinely don't know.
I feel
eat like when we've walked in,
eating there, or like just like around, right?
Yeah,
and I don't know, maybe that's just like being in the South, and like I'm now seeing more black people than you see in freaking Boston, which is so fucking white.
Yeah.
So maybe it's that, but like I don't know, like I feel like I don't know, white people go to Chick-fil-A and then everybody else goes to these other places. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just been an observation.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so I feel like all the workers have almost always been like a minority of some sort.
Yeah.
And so I feel like they're just like, these fucking white people are trying to fucking.
It's so funny because if we walk in,
they're trying to appropriate.
We sit there and we really fucking think about our order. Like we sit there and we're like, ooh, okay, we could get this.
They're trying to appropriate our Bojangles.
We're analyzing that menu so fucking hard when we walk in because we're trying to decide the best like value to get exactly the same meal we've gotten for the past 3 weeks. And so we probably look fucking crazy because most other people are like, I'm going in, I'm getting what I always get, or I know the menu, or so we just look insane to begin with. Like,
I don't know. I just feel like we definitely. I feel like you like we walk in and it's just like,
oh, here we fucking go.
We don't belong here. Like
but not in a bad way.
They're judging us.
Oh, which is like fair.
Yeah.
But okay, so anyway.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I just wanted to like say like I feel like that was like the like I feel like there was some frustration like that she immediately knew like she could just picture the mound of snow in the car that was about to drive up.
No, so we were a little like, wow, $50. That's a lot. Because I do feel like most places it's a lot, but you normally can get a meal per person for like $15. Normally, in my opinion, I feel like 15 for like fast food a person is normally the like new normal.
And again, this was 25, but this was 25 because we
did get some add-ons.
I would say the main thing was like the apple pie, which I know was only $2.
I was gonna say,
but just stick with me here.
Okay.
That would put it down to like $48.
Okay.
Which suggests about $15 per person if it was 3 people. And you and I were talking about it, and the amount of food we had was probably a good amount for 3 people.
Yeah.
It worked for us because we were hungry.
Yeah.
We ended up having a little
ate it all day.
We had a little left over for like us to have later, and like it literally, it was enough food for us for the entire day.
It was a lot of food.
So
it was a lot of food.
Like in the end, the value was like pretty good.
Yeah.
It just up front kind of feels like a gut punch to like hear you spent $50 on fucking fast food.
Yeah. So get home, a lot of food, like we said. So I guess first, I'm still just in shock. There's 8 fucking sauces, but
the sauces were like a sweet and spicy. I forget what the actual name was. Yeah. There was a Mardi Gras mustard, which was like a spicy mustard.
Yeah.
There was honey mustard.
Yep.
There was a tartar sauce.
Yep.
Cocktail sauce.
Yeah.
Excuse me. There was buttermilk ranch. There was blackened ranch. There was barbecue, and there was
a buffalo sauce.
A buffalo sauce.
Yeah. Bayou buffalo.
And all the sauces were pretty good.
They were all pretty good.
The buttermilk ranch was the one that I was probably the most just like, it's ranch, whatever.
But it wasn't even good ranch.
But like the like I don't know, like barbecue sauce can kind of fall into like a whatever phase as well, but like it felt different enough. The honey
Yeah.
mustard definitely felt different enough to
Yeah.
the point where I didn't like it that much.
Oh, I actually really liked
I thought
it.
the honey mustard was tasteless.
Mm.
And I definitely don't
I
have
will say the 4 that
COVID.
were more unique, the like blackened mustard,
The blackened
the
ranch,
Mardi Gras, blackened ranch, the Mardi Gras mustard, which was again the spicy mustard, the
sweet and spicy
sweet and spicy, and the
cocktail.
all were like, those were the best in my opinion. Maybe because they were unique, like more unique.
You thought the cocktail was one of the best?
I said if I were to
wanted the
pick,
buffalo.
I would have gone buffalo, just my preference. But for those, like in my opinion, if you're like going for the sauce game, you should go for unique, and those are the 4 unique ones.
And what
in
was
my
so
opinion.
crazy was that like cocktail sauce is what you use for shrimp. If people don't like know what cocktail sauce is, it's normally what you dip shrimp in.
Which you can get seafood at Popeyes.
You can.
I have never.
And it was like one of those things where it's like, okay, when we pulled it out, I was like, okay, this was probably the one that we like could have said we don't need. But I opened it and it's like, well, we're going to try it because we have it. And I dipped the chicken in it and you take a bite and you're immediately hit with cocktail sauce.
It's a little off-putting.
And you're kind of just like, yeah, that's exactly like, yeah, I'm an idiot. Why did I think it was going to be anything different? But then you like, it like marinates in your mouth a little bit, as gross as that sounds. Yeah. And after like a second, you're like, no, that's actually good. Like, it's weird that that's good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that's not an intended use for it. Probably not. But anyway, if you do it and you're like, wow, somebody actually said it's also decent. You're seen. We love you. All the things.
So first go is the chicken. How did you feel about the chicken tenders?
Chicken was like fine.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything great. Like KFC's was definitely like the most banging.
Yeah. I don't even know if I could differentiate Popeyes from Church's or Bojangles. I don't know if I can.
It was more on par with Bojangles, I think. And I think technically the way Popeyes does it is like Bojangles, where it's like it's the nice in between that I technically do want.
Mm-hmm.
Like KFC is damn near perfect to what I want, but like I will say the one thing that would actually knock it is the fact that like you get those ends that are simply just the batter / fried.
Yeah.
And you like pop it in your mouth and it like melts and is like greasy and everything. And it's fucking delicious. And you're just a piece of shit for loving it.
Yeah.
But I also like almost hate that because it's like it like reminds me that I'm a piece of shit. Whereas like these other ones, because they're a little lighter.
Yeah.
But it was still crispy.
Yeah.
To enough. Whereas
that's true. I guess Bojangles.
I feel like Church's was almost like chicken strips where it's like they were almost like barely fried.
Yeah.
And so it almost felt the healthiest.
It really did actually. But that made us like it the least.
Right. So anyway, I would say it was like on par with like Bojangles.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, it was good. Like it does not stand alone. You definitely need the sauce.
In my opinion, yes.
But yeah. It was good.
Yeah. Liked that. Again, sauce game was like pretty good. I think I just hate it. It's so stupid. I hate the amount of sauces because I think as like a new person, you are like trying to figure out which one you're going to want. And that's too many to choose from.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like you should have chosen like, again, 4 to 5. If your meals generally allow 4,
you gotta
just do 4.
No, you have to take the upcharge on your first one. You have to accept it.
And then pick your 4, and then you know what you're getting from there on.
And then you don't get charged an extra $1.
But I did like the more unique sauces from Popeyes. I mean, KFC sauce game was good.
Their sauces were all good, but they were all like fairly normal.
Yeah, so I was intrigued that Popeyes were more unique.
Getting hit with like a spicy mustard was sick. The sweet and spicy, like I'm kind of shocked that nowhere else had like, because like McDonald's has a really good sweet and sour.
I know.
So you would almost expect that.
But
Go back and watch us eat 50 chicken nuggets and test all the sauces for McDonald's.
That was so fun. Anyway, so like
McDonald's had a hot mustard too.
Yeah, McDonald's had good sauces.
They did have good sauces.
So I was very into the sauce game from Popeyes.
Yep.
But yeah, I would agree so far the chicken KFC's been the best. So then the sides. The sides they were 2 large sizes, so that does take into consideration the amount of food we had.
And the cost.
But yeah, so we always get the mac and cheese and we get the mashed potatoes. Pretty much all mashed potatoes have just come with gravy on them.
Mm-hmm.
These mashed potatoes I think they were just called like technically like a spicy. To me, I just tasted straight pepper.
They had like hot peppers or something.
I felt like I just tasted a shit ton of pepper.
Well, you're talking pepper like ground pepper, not
that's what
pepper
I felt like I was
as in
tasting.
like as in like the fruit.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like cracked pepper.
Yes.
That's what I felt like I was tasting, like to a very high, like a high degree.
All of them do a fairly good job of like seasoning with salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Like that sense.
Yeah.
What I found interesting about Popeyes was because was it Bojangles? I think had sausage in theirs.
Yeah, or
I don't know if we ever
bacon.
confirmed that.
We didn't.
It was good.
I didn't like
Like it was like a nice additive, but yeah, this I really enjoyed.
It was very good.
But to your point, they were almost a little too like
it was a lot
peppery, like cracked pepper.
I think I wouldn't be. It was really hard to like eat that much of it. I think if it was a smaller amount, which you probably would just get with any other meal, not the family, I'd be like, okay, yeah, it's like unique, it's good. But it was after a while, it was so much pepper. I was like, holy shit! Like I needed to jump between the mac and cheese and the mashed potatoes.
But that said, I do think the mashed potatoes were the best mashed potatoes out of anywhere.
I agree. Yeah,
because they were the most unique and like they were strong. Like they were better than what you would expect, I think.
Yes, I agree.
I feel like everywhere else was as expected mashed potatoes, which is like it's tough to like dress up mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Whereas like mac and cheese, it's very easy to get in your head of like the level because there's such a wide range.
Yeah.
Like you can have bad mashed potatoes, but you can't really have phenomenal mashed potatoes.
It's hard.
It's like like the gap is like very like tight.
Yeah.
So like most things are gonna fall into it's mashed potatoes. They're good.
Yeah.
And these were a step above.
Yes, I agree. Again, a lot to eat after a while, but were very good. And again, appreciated the different part of them. And yeah, I just tasted the best out of all of them. I mean, I literally last week said KFC's tasted like they were scooped with an ice cream scooper. And I don't know how to say it any other way, but that exactly describes the taste to me of what it tasted like.
And so again, they were still good.
Yeah, they were still good, but they weren't as good.
Yeah.
As this week's.
And then mac and cheese. So I think we've found hopefully a clarifier for how good or bad or what level the mac and cheese is going to be on.
Okay.
And that is if it's an upcharge.
Yeah.
It should mean
it's going to be
that they
really
are real good.
Yeah.
Because Church's was an upcharge and Church's had the best mac and cheese.
Oh my God.
I think Church's still has the best mac and cheese.
I do sort of too.
Holy shit, the Popeyes deserved to be an upcharge.
Yeah.
It was like Church's just edges it out, I think. I would almost want to do like a taste test of both where it's like you try both and see.
Yeah.
The Popeyes mac and cheese was so good. And it was like I described it as like the fuck you. You're a little piece of shit mac and cheese. It was so cheesy. It was so gooey.
Yeah.
Oh.
You could tell it was baked and then scooped out because there's genuinely just clumps of cheese. I mean, it's all cheesy, but then there's extra clumps of cheese like stuck in places. Like they baked it with a layer of cheese over top. So we were both very impressed. Again, I don't think it can beat Church. Like we were blown away by Church's mac and cheese. So I don't know.
I mean, Church's might have gotten the edge just from being like the first, right?
Yeah,
so it's like
it might have, but
they're
both up
there. It was
there.
like 3-4 years ago, so it's tough to like truly remember.
Yeah,
but
both were very, very good. Basically, Popeyes pretty much killed the side game.
Popeyes killed the side game. The sauce game was strong.
And then sauce game was strong.
Then
and the chicken was just like good.
And then we had 4 biscuits.
Oh,
they give you jelly or jam and honey to technically put on the biscuits. But we went dry.
We did.
Because we're normally, I think, dry.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not a big...
bread should be able to stand on its own.
Yeah.
For the most part. You do jelly bread, but like there's a difference.
But I love bread.
Like a good piece of bread should be able to just you put it in your mouth. Especially when it's bread that has already been made with a shit ton of butter, it should melt in your mouth. It should just feel so warm in your tummy.
Yeah. So the Popeyes biscuits made me the most nervous off the bat because they were the most condensed biscuit. Like they were probably only 2 inches high. And they felt hard.
They felt hard.
And I was like, I literally looked at Spencer and I was like, this should have like some push, like a cushion to it.
Yeah.
Because all the other ones were like thicker. They had a nice little pillow consistency to them. And Spencer went, just bite it. And when I tell you, it had the most satisfying.
It was a perfect bake.
It was because it was actually had a really nice crispy outside, which I
Yep.
guess if you don't like that, you wouldn't like
But
it.
it wasn't like over. It wasn't
No,
like
it wasn't
like
hard.
you know if you were like taking like an X-ray of it,
Yeah.
right? Like we're talking like a centimeter of hard.
Yeah.
It was the perfect amount to
Yeah.
just perfectly
It
encase
literally,
the perfect middle.
I know it wasn't. It almost felt like it was just lightly fried all around it. It definitely wasn't.
Right, like
but like it had that
like a
level of
perfect-
crisp.
It had a perfect
Yeah.
shell
Yes.
that wasn't too dense.
Correct.
It was really good. It wasn't the best biscuit.
No, I still think Bojangles,
Still think
was
Bojangles
best.
is the best. It's I would say it was like on par with KFC. It's like you could go one way or the other, and
Yeah.
I would accept it.
Yeah.
Whereas like, and then I stand by that Church's tasted like it was out of a freezer aisle.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I was surprised though
I was
for
shocked.
first reaction of like, oh god, this is the biscuit. But no, they were very good. Again, just most impressed by like it was the crispiest outside of any
Mhm.
biscuit we've had, but it wasn't hard. Like the whole biscuit was still
Right.
very soft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, it was like I don't know how to describe it, but like from a baking standpoint, from like a pastry,
Yeah.
I guess,
Mhm.
standpoint, it was like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Actual like eating it, not like the perfect biscuit. It's very good.
Yeah.
But like that's why like there's like a weird way to have to like distinguish because like
Yeah.
Bojangles is still like oh my fucking god.
Yeah,
that biscuit.
really. So, and then we did get the little, it's like a little apple pie, like tube, basically. There's definitely a word.
It's like a hot pocket.
Yeah, it's kind of like Hot Pocket.
Yeah.
We did eat it hours after the fact
So it
because there was
wasn't
so
warm
much
anymore.
food. So I think if it was warm, I think we both would have been like, holy shit.
If it was warm, I think it would be one of the greatest fast food desserts.
Especially because it's like $1.50.
Yeah.
And you just get this nice little cinnamon sugary coated apple goodness. So we did eat it cold just because we like didn't feel like reheating it. It was pretty dang good for cold. So hot, I think it would be really good. And yeah, it was something crazy. Like one is $1.50 and two is like,
I think it was like one's like just under $2 and
Yeah.
then two is like $3 or something.
if
like
even, like, yeah, like it's
that.
not like
tax on
a
$1.
yeah. So if you're ever in the mood for something a little sweet and quick, and it comes in a nice little like hot pocket cat carrier thing,
Mhm.
honestly would get it. Like worth it.
Yeah, it
if
was
you just
good.
need something quick on the road. So yeah, obviously that doesn't
We can't
take into
I was gonna
account.
say we can't really weigh. We can't really like
No,
weigh that in.
but I
out of
just wanted
favor,
to
but
say that
we did want to
that
say we
was
picked
good.
it up and it was good.
I do think it's a little insane that like to me, not that we need it, but I do think it's a little insane that these like family meals like feel expensive and they don't come with a drink. Like I
Yeah.
know last week we were like, it's not that big a deal, but I am kind of like, no, that's kind of annoying actually. Like I think you should have the option to have a drink.
Yeah.
Like because thinking about it, if you're like getting all this shit to go and making your life easy, I do kind of think it should come with a drink. Even just like, it doesn't need to be like the biggest drink, but just like a drink. So you have an
Yeah.
option. But regardless.
I think the convenience of getting soda from a fast food place or a drink, whatever,
Yeah.
but like I think that convenience isn't worth it. That you would be like if you're thinking about this from like a economical standpoint,
Mhm.
you're always better off just like cooking food
I
for
mean,
yourself.
yeah,
But like
obviously.
something so simple as going to a soda machine versus buying a 2 liter,
It's
you should just buy the 2 liter.
yeah, technically.
Whereas
But
the actual like
I love getting
I know,
soda.
but I like the actual like commitment to like making food versus
Yeah.
just picking up food
Yes.
is like
Yes.
way different, right?
Yeah.
Like paying for that convenience is like almost just as smart
Yeah.
in some ways.
Yeah,
So anyway,
sure.
I
get
will
it.
say that like
Yeah.
the right family, they already have their Sprite,
2 liter
their
at
Coke,
home.
their whatever.
Yeah. I guess that's true. I guess it's just like we haven't needed it because we've not been getting fast food on a weekly basis because of this. But normally when we only get fast food like genuinely a handful of times a
It's like
year,
the only time we have soda.
it's the only
Yeah.
time we have soda. So I do get excited to go to a fast food and have soda included in my meal because then I'm just like, ooh, I get a little soda. Like
know,
I guess
now
get
we're out
excited.
of lemonade because we had some of our lemonade when we got
I
home.
know. But anyway, I
Okay.
do think it's a little crazy.
Where do you rank Popeyes?
So I think
The order thus far is we've been in agreement.
Yeah.
It's been KFC, Church's, Bojangles.
yes.
And it's crazy because Bojangles is really good.
It is.
And we have to keep clarifying. It's simply the fact that Church's side game, the chicken is too close. Like maybe Bojangles edges it out depending.
Yeah.
But the side game for Church's is
was
so good.
strong. Yeah. We've basically been making the joke of you go to KFC for the chicken and the sauce. You go to Church's for the mac and cheese, and then or the side in general, and then you go to Bojangles for the biscuit.
Yeah.
That's been the ongoing joke of building the perfect Southern fast food meal.
Yeah.
So Popeyes. I think this is so hard. The hard part is I really like the chicken from KFC,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like I liked everything else from Popeyes more. To me, Popeyes felt really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'd have to go KFC, Popeyes, Church's, Bojangles. It's hard. They're so tight.
I think I'm gonna give it to Popeyes. And so the way I'm thinking about it is like if you're on a 100-point scale, right? Like if Popeyes is your 100,
sure,
right? For me,
yeah.
I'll say like if Popeyes is my 100, KFC's a 99.
Oh, absolutely. They're so close.
And then like there's a pretty clear gap, I would say, between KFC and Church's.
Yeah.
So then Church's is like a 90 for me.
Yeah.
But Bojangles is an 89.
Yeah.
Like those two are almost interchangeable.
Yep.
But these two at the top are clearly the ones at the top.
Yep.
They're almost interchangeable, right? They're a point off at each level. But so yeah, that's for me at least. But I think I would give it to Popeyes because the KFC chicken can stand on its own, but at the end of the day, the chicken is a vessel for the sauce, and the Popeyes sauce was better.
It was so good.
And the the quality of chicken at that point doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
The sides were way better, so it's almost like the same thing.
Trying not to regret my decision.
It was almost the same thing as like choosing Church's over Bojangles, right? Like Church's had the sides, so that's why we ended up, I think, both going with Church's over Bojangles. So that's why I'm going to go with Popeyes over KFC. And then when you get to the biscuit level, again, it's a toss-up. I could go either one. If you gave me a Popeyes biscuit and a KFC biscuit, I'm not going to be upset either way. They're equal to each other in my opinion.
Yeah.
One doesn't edge out the other enough, certainly, to sway a vote. And if anything, it would only work in favor of Popeyes in this situation.
Yeah.
So I think I would go Popeyes. I agree about the cost and what I would.
I literally think the cost is what made me edge towards KFC.
What I would throw back is that we would have paid the same amount had we just gotten. We would have paid a little more technically because we would have been getting more chicken, but we would have paid roughly the same amount had we just done a 12-piece with the large mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. No,
and we would have gotten
it.
4 biscuits with it. So we would have gotten 4 extra pieces of chicken. We would have gotten the same amount of biscuits.
Yeah.
And we would have gotten a much better side versus the KFC mac and cheese plus the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And I think a large was the size of 2 regulars.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's hard.
That's where I would almost end up landing.
Yeah. You kind of said it when we were eating the food. Every week has gotten a little bit better. So that either means Zaxby's.
It's gotten better in one regard,
yes.
right? Because like Bojangles,
we've been like shocked by something.
Bojangles and Church's were like roughly the same, but it was like, oh, but the Bojangles biscuit.
Yeah.
And now, I guess with Popeyes, technically it was the mashed potatoes.
Yeah, but we were pretty impressed across the board.
But yeah. But like the mac and cheese was better than KFC's at least. So like yeah, every week there's been something better than the previous week.
Yeah. So Zaxby's is either gonna destroy
so
everyone.
It'd be funny if Zaxby's somehow has the best chicken, it somehow has the best mac and cheese, the best mashed potatoes, and the best biscuit.
Yeah.
And clearly is just like the number one winner.
Yeah.
Or it somehow has the worst of everything. There really can be no in between, or else because no matter what, it's gonna kind of fall flat. I think so too. With what we've had.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really funny.
Yeah.
That's like kind of like the inevitable like end we're coming to. It's either going to knock it out of the park or like it's just going to feel very
or we're going to be like,
God
damn it, why did we save this for last? Yeah.
And that's going to be the other thing. Like it might be on par with like Bojangles and Church's, but at this point
it'll probably be
KFC
disappointing.
Jumped so high and that Popeyes met it that it's going to be like funny.
Yeah, so that'll be our last chicken taste next week, and then maybe we can come with final thoughts, final ranking. I know we've talking a lot, and maybe I thought it'd be fun to keep running the joke of what's the perfect if you had a road with all of them. This is what you got to get from
this
all
is
of
the
them.
order you hope they're in.
Yeah,
so you don't have to double back.
Precisely.
Eat a piece of chocolate.
We're
Let's
gonna
go.
eat our last piece of chocolate. This has been so long.
I'm just excited now that I get to eat the rest of this box.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this to be over. If I could get lucky and get the milk chocolate, I'd lose my mind.
Okay, well, there's a very obvious...
What?
There's a very obvious milk chocolate.
Is there?
Well, there's like 9, it looks like, that are milk chocolate.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's all milk chocolate.
No, I know. I'm
That's
just
what I'm
saying.
saying.
You have your odds are increased.
I'm going to go for a square. There's basically nuggets, squares, or rectangles.
Square looks like it doesn't have.
Square definitely has caramel or something in it.
So set that down.
Rectangle it is.
That one might have like a wafer or something.
That's my hope. I'm hoping for a wafer. Not a wafer.
No, it's chewy.
Oh. It's the one I keep calling it nougat.
I think it's toffee.
I don't like coffee. Nope. Still hate it. That's disgusting. Spencer, congratulations. You win this box of Hockey and chocolate. Oh my god.
Are you not saying anything? Are you going to throw up?
Nope. I'm not going to throw up. I just need to get most of the chewing out. Oh, now the aftertaste is just sitting in my mouth.
Drink some coffee.
Oh my god. Boy, am I happy that's over.
And so are you, dear listener. I'm going to eat the one that Shelby next.
Didn't even hesitate. Threw the whole thing in his mouth. How long will it take you to eat the rest of that chocolate?
There's another layer.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay. Ugh. God, it's disgusting. There's like 12 pieces left in there. I could not do this for another 12 weeks. The idea was fun.
There's 17.
Oh my god. The idea was fun. But genuinely, I do not look forward to this part.
I don't know. I'll probably eat like 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah.
Depending. Maybe I'll go kind of hard today. It's Sunday.
Ooh, Sunday. Or just popping them in your mouth. Ugh. Was the last one caramel? Yeah.
This one was coconut.
Oh my god. Awful. All disgusting. Okay, well, Spencer eats his chocolate, and this is the longest episode ever. Thank you for listening and or watching. In case you haven't watched it, we put these on YouTube so you can see our beautiful faces as we react to eating chocolate. Though not anymore. This bit is dead. Come back next week for more bits.
You act like we don't have other food bits locked and loaded.
We need to end all of our current bits before we go into new bits.
Not all of them.
Most of them. We need some to die before we go adding more.
Well,
or we're going to be eating food for half the episode.
2 are about to be dead. So
yeah. So come back next week for more bits. Our last chicken wrap up. Thoughts and feelings. Spencer's gonna eat that whole box right now. As always, you can find our socials in the description of every episode. And if you'd like, you should follow SMSoup Podcast on TikTok and Instagram, where we kind of just like
another coconut.
Do more shit that we feel like doing. And that is all. I still don't have a canned outro. So all is normal. And we'll see y'all next week.
One more for the road. Also coconut.
What the fuck?